start. What's up, Game with King family? Welcome back to another F1 Manager 2022 video. Alright, so we're going to be jumping into our next race. I had to buy some new parts, so I purchased my first new engine. I think I only bought for one car, Lewis Hamilton. George Russell car should be able to take him to the end. We bought a new ERS on Lewis Hamilton as well. Russell, we also bought a new ERS for him. As for gearbox, we have a gearbox that we bought a few races ago. It's currently at 73%, and George Russell's gearbox is at 89%. So I think those gearbox probably good enough to bring us to the end, or we probably have to buy another one for Lewis Hamilton to go to the end. But we're going to be jumping here into the Mexican Grand Prix. As for our facilities, we haven't taken a look at those for a while, so I've got my factory up to level 4. We'll be upgrading that pretty soon, but we are rounding off to a closing of the first season here in F1 Manager 2022 as Team Mercedes boss. I think I'm doing really well as Team Mercedes, so I'm thinking of starting a brand new save from a lower team that probably will be good. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and which team do you think I should start a brand new save off. That will probably be a little more challenge than Team Mercedes. I was looking at probably Aston Martin, but yeah, let me know down in the comments and I'll make a decision from there. All right, so let's jump on into the Mexican Grand Prix. Remember to smash that like button if you haven't already done so, guys. Let's go.
It's going to be the roar of the engines and the cheers of the crowd. Formula One is back in the very heart of Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. This is an exhilarating circuit on the Formula One calendar. We'll be sure to see plenty of battles and overtaking this weekend, especially with the help of not one, not two, but 3 DRS zones. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Let's get this underway.
All right, so here we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Free practice is going to be wet. We're going to be jumping into that and get our free practice done. If you haven't seen our video on how to make the most out of your free practice, make sure you go back and check that video, as that video shows you what we do in free practice. And for the sake of the video, we jump through free practice and qualifying, but we do have videos that show you exactly what we do on free practice and on qualifying to get the most out of our drivers. So we're about to jump on into our free practice now, and I'll see you at the end. All right, guys, so that was it for our session. There we go. Lewis Hamilton actualization 100%, 97 for George Russell, 100% actualization, 99 setup for Russell, 97 for Lewis Hamilton. So we did good in free practice 3 here. So let's jump on now to our qualifying session where we can hope to do as good. All right, so let's jump into it. If you haven't seen our video on how to make the most out of your qualifying session, make sure you check that out, as that one will definitely be highlighted to you. We're going to be using a brand new engine here. I think we're going to be getting a grid penalty for using a brand new engine with Lewis, and we'll use this old gearbox. All right, but anyways, if you haven't seen our video on how to make the most out of qualifying, make sure you check that out so you can get the most out of your qualifying sessions and get as strong position as you can possibly get. All right, so with that said, let's jump into our qualifying session here. All right, guys, so here we go for our qualifying session. P5, P6 is where we've got our qualifiers, but we're going to be getting grid penalties because of new engine and new parts that we've thrown on in for the remainder of the season. So we probably be starting at the back. Anyways, let's jump on into it.
Tension continues to build here as race day begins.
Mercedes earned themselves a solid position on the grid here during qualifying. Let's hope they can make the most of it at the race start. Ferrari performed brilliantly during qualifying and will be very pleased with their grid positions. But the challenge for them will be to keep the momentum going during the race. And the sky is looking grey and cloudy today. An effective tyre strategy could prove very valuable as the race plays out.
Well, there's some serious decision making ahead for teams and the drivers as we begin the Mexican Grand Prix.
Alright, so here we go for our Mexican Grand Prix. Let's get our setup and get it started. Alright guys, here goes our strategy for the Mexican Grand Prix. We're going to be going along with Lewis because he's going to be starting at P16. George Russell starting at P10. So we're going medium to hards, hards to medium. Alright, let's jump on into the Mexican Grand Prix. Remember to smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already done so. Really appreciate those likes. Let's go.
And here we've got George Russell. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. Looking down the grid, it's Hamilton. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. Everything's been building to this. This is it. Here we go with the Mexican Grand Prix.
Here we go. And it's lights out. Let's hope our drivers get a great start. Russell P10, Lewis Hamilton P16. Let's go, George. Let's go. Fully aggressive. Fully aggressive. Beautiful start from our drivers. Looking good. George Russell down the inside here. Moved up to P8. Did he? Did he? Russell on the McLarens battling it out. Yes, he did. Beautiful drive there from George Russell to make his way up to P8. Can he hold the position? Yes, he can.
Incredible move by Mercedes.
Great move. Definitely. Let's take a look at that again.
Here's George Russell.
Down the inside on the McLarens and just close that gap, picking up those places. Awesome driving there from George Russell. Lewis Hamilton still in P16. Did not gain any position from his start. Alright, so we'll keep them pushing. I'm testing a new theory out, so it looked great. It worked for Russell. Did not work for Hamilton, however, but yeah, it's alright. So we keep pushing. Hamilton. Oh, wait, what was that? What kind of smoke was that? Did somebody lock up or run wide? Lando Norris locked up there. Looked like Lando Norris run wide there. Sainz locked up as well. Oh, there's the smoke from Sainz. He locked up and run off the track. There is George Russell. There is Russell. Where is Hamilton? There is Hamilton going by him as well. So Sainz locked up. Don't know what happened to George Russell, but Russell was not Russell. What happened to Lando Norris? He was right beside Danny Ricciardo, and he just fell right back. Let's cut them now down to neutral. As we got a nice little pickup with Russell, and a nice little run from Lewis Hamilton in P16. He didn't pick up any position, but a nice little run from him anyways. Now let's look at our tire deck. Let's look what the tires, alright, so the pack starts on mostly mediums and softs. Hamilton is the only one on hards because he's going to be going long on those hards. So we should pick up a good amount of position with Hamilton once these cars start to go to pit. "27 laps to our pit window, 37 to our pit window for Lewis." Alright, so we're nice and within a DRS train. Lewis Hamilton is within his own DRS train. Nice, so we're just going to let this lap go, and then we're going to start to look some overtakes in the next lap, as we will have DRS now being enabled. Tires are getting a little warm, says George Russell. Don't worry about that, Russell. Just drive, man. DRS now enabled.
You can use DRS.
So we'll have DRS on the next straight, not this time around.
Okay, copy.
Tires are getting hot, says Lewis. Just drive, Lewis. Don't worry too much about the tires. Tires are looking good on our side. Alright. Alright, so here comes the first order of DRS on George Russell. Alright, so no DRS down that straight either. Pierre Gasly outside of DRS behind George Russell, so Russell is like at the back of this DRS pack. Lewis Hamilton within a train of his own. Alright, so we're going to now cut our drivers up to overtake, so we can get a nice clean exit to the main straight. DRS has now started to be used, so we want a nice clean exit on that main straight. Lewis now we'll see if he can go down the inside with DRS. Nope, he swings back wide to take the racing line. Here comes George Russell. Want a nice clean exit with that DRS. So you see that blue bar filling up, and we're gonna cut it back down to harvest, or we could cut it down to neutral. We don't have to harvest so early. Cut it down to neutral, as we'll be flying down that straight with all of that power. Alright, so 87 back up for Russell. Hamilton stuck in a really weird kind of train here. No room for him to try and make a move. This is the kind of train he's in. Ocon looked like he wanted to attack Perez there. George Russell still all over him. We're going to cut back up to overtake after that corner.
Overtake as well.
Lewis Hamilton trying to make a move here, and we want to cut him back to up to overtake as well.
Overtake press.
Though it would not help around that move, he could work on Latifi with this overtake press. Alright, so he can now work on Latifi with his overtake press. Yeah, we saw it. There we go, working on a Latifi with DRS. Flying down there, so we want to close that gap to Vettel, so we could get DRS on the next straight. Are we close enough?
Mercedes moved up a place.
Not sure if we're close enough, but we're almost there though. All right, let's cut to harvest with you, and harvest with Lewis as well. We're gonna harvest as there's gonna be a DRS line coming up. We probably have to go overtake. Alright, so Lewis is within DRS now. So we can go back to charge. Yep, he's within DRS, so he should get DRS.
Charge the pack.
Off Vettel. So we'll charge. Then we want to cut up to overtake there.
Overtake will be available.
As for Lewis, we also want to cut up to overtake after that corner.
An overtake will be available.
So he can get a nice clean exit to the straight, as Russell moves his way through. Ocon up the road from George Russell. So let's see if he can get Ocon out the way. He should get a nice clean exit here. So he should exit right on Ocon there to now use his DRS to pull down the side and around Ocon. Alright, we can cut back to harvest as it zeroes out.
Charge the pack.
Lewis zeroes out, and we cut back to harvest.
So we're low back
Alright.
at the moment.
And since we are within DRS, we're just going to keep charging. Alright, so we didn't get to pull around Ocon that time around. Leaders, Leclerc, Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen, and Bottas pulled away from Sergio Perez, who is stuck down here in this train. Lewis Hamilton all over Vettel here. pulled away from the Williams, but we'll let them charge. Now to this corner, then we want to cut up to overtake after that
So
corner.
overtake.
After this corner, we want to cut up to overtake, so we can get a nice clean exit to the main straight. There you've seen that blue bar running up. Just watch that blue bar as it climbs and your ERS goes down. So we should get a nice tight exit behind Ocon this time around. 400s behind. Alright, so Ocon seems to get a better exit than us there. And we're gonna cut back this down to harvest. And we'll cut back that down to harvest for Lewis.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna take these next 2 laps and charge our packs. You see Gasly trying to get around Russell here. Russell holding him off. We could go ERS to help Russell on his exit, but it wouldn't help at this point. He got the better line. George Russell does. He has the power. Gasly's on a softer compound. Alright, so 7 laps in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to increase our speed.
So use these tires.
So we're going to increase our pace with both drivers. And Gasly got Vettel, we saw it. And we're going to keep harvesting. Keep harvesting. As we are still within that DRS train. Lewis Hamilton now past Vettel. He has Mick Schumacher up the road. 4 seconds up the road is Mick Schumacher. So we want that pace to pick up as we save this DRS. Alright, so we could cut down to neutral for George Russell.
No need to charge. Copy.
However, for Lewis Hamilton, we'll have to really charge for another lap to pull back up his pack to try and catch up to Mick Schumacher here. He, Ricciardo, and Lando Norris is in a train of their own. Here comes Vettel down the inside of Lewis. We have the better line though, which is the inside on this corner. So we'll keep our position as we keep harvesting. Alright, so we're gonna speed it up a little bit after this lap for the sake of time and the video, as we're seeing nothing extraordinary happening right now. Tires are getting a little warm. That's all right, George. Alright, so once it zeroes out, we're gonna cut back to neutral on our ERS. Neutral. And then we're gonna speed it up for a few laps. Alright, so it's lap 12. We see George Russell still in the train. We see Lewis Hamilton has now caught up to Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, and Lando Norris. So he's going to start to attack them to get that position. We've seen Lewis fuel here a bit low. We want to save some fuel. Since he's in that DRS train, now would be a nice time to save some fuel, because he's in the middle of the train. He's not at the back, or he's not at the front. So now would be a nice time to save some fuel with Lewis. And we'll keep pushing with Russell. He's in the back, so we don't want to save any fuel while he's in the back. So if he gets back around Gasly, then we could let's see what tires Gasly on against softs. Alright, so Gasly should be going to pit pretty soon on those softs, as they're not looking too good. We want to keep Hamilton saving fuel. George Russell looks to have less fuel than Hamilton, so I don't know what's going on with the fuel consumption in Hamilton's car. and he has a brand new engine as well, so I don't know. Alright, so we keep saving on fuel within that DRS train between the McLarens with Lewis. We possibly want to get around all three of these cars and go hunt down George Russell with Lewis. But we're trying to save a little on that fuel and see if we can get it back within the pluses. Alright, so we see George Russell with 2.2 plus laps of extra fuel. We want to kind of get Lewis Hamilton somewhere there, and then we'll speed it up a bit. Alright, Hamilton is now within that 2.6 seconds of fuel. And he's stuck in that DRS train, looking good. Alright, so we're going to cut him now up to regular, and then we're going to speed it up. Alright, so here we go. Hamilton just overtook all of them, and he's now ahead. So something again that we're looking at is the speed of the hard compound tire. The hard compound tire looks very, very good here. Alright, so we see Hamilton has got past, and he's picked up now 12 seconds behind Pierre Gasly, so he'll now be on the hunt. So Gasly's on those softs, as I said, so he should be going to pit pretty soon. So let's see if Lewis can go and catch up to Gasly, as Russell here still within that train. Alright, there goes Gasly now going into pit, so Hamilton should catch up to Gasly here. And Russell is now within a train in between Ocon and Alonso. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save some fuel with Russell.
Save fuel.
Alright, so he also got Alonso. He's 1.3 behind Perez, so we can't save just yet. We have to let him drive for now. So let's go overtake and see if we can go catch up to Perez. Yeah, we saw it. Let's see if we can get within DRS of Perez. There we go. Within DRS of Perez, that's what we want. And then once we close down that gap now behind Perez, that's when we're going to be able to cut to harvest, conserve and save some fuel like we did for Lewis. Alright, so we pulled away from Alonso, and we're right now behind Perez within that DRS train. Alright, so after our first DRS run behind Perez, then we're gonna cut down. All right, as Hamilton charged now down Ocon and Alonso. So these hard tires are looking really good. They're running really great. Gasly, Mick Schumacher has decided to go for fresh hards. The hards are running really good. We're getting some good lap times out of these hards. And we're right on our tire deck as well. Alright, so now we're gonna save some fuel with Russell,
Lift and coast.
since he's overtook Perez, and Perez is gonna have DRS on him. So the best thing there, let's watch that overtake because we didn't see it.
Look at this. Here's George Russell.
DRS all the way down the inside of Sergio Perez. Beautiful overtake there from George Russell. Awesome drive.
And there they go. Moving up a position. Just incredible maneuvering. Back in the garage, the team absolutely loved it.
Alright, so we harvest a little bit of fuel on Russell here, and he's pulling away from Perez. So he's at good pace. Even though we're trying to save some fuel, he has good pace. So we could probably go overtake with the ERS.
You have overtake.
And that should get him out of Perez, out of his ERS window. Yeah, there we go. Perez just got out, dropped out. Now he's back in. Let's see. Yep, he's getting DRS on us. Alright, so we'll wait for Lewis to go down to 70 fuel as well. He's a little bit off. I don't know what's wrong with Lewis, man. He's using up a lot of fuel. A lot of fuel. Let's cut Russell up to normal, and then we'll cut back Lewis.
Lift and coast.
down a bit,
Fine.
as Ricardo is far behind and he's not at
And think
least
about increasing lifting coast just a
behind
little.
Ocon at this time. So we're going to save some fuel and add some speed. All right, so we're at lap 20. Lewis Hamilton fuel now in the plus. Russell fuel, however, has dropped out. He's still in front of Perez. We want to go to harvest on his
Lifting
ERS.
coast for fuel. Yep. Charge the pack. Copy.
All right, Russell. He has DRS now. He's going to pass. We're going to let him pass, as we will have DRS back on him around the next section. So that's all right. Lewis Hamilton now come in. Yeah, we saw it. All right, so a good amount of laps to our pit window. 9 laps for Russell to his pit window. We're gonna wait for 5 laps to go. Then we're gonna start burning his tires, meaning we're gonna go on full attack on those tires. All right, so though he's saving and harvesting, he has saved up that extra fuel. He's pushing that pace to stick within DRS on Perez. Nice. So we're gonna cut now to normal.
So charge off. Copy.
And we're just gonna let that fuel come up a little bit. And then we're gonna be speeding it up for the sake of the video for a few more laps. Alright, so we have plus 1 lap. That should be good enough. Alright, let's go now to balance, and then we're gonna speed it up for a few laps. Accident.
Copy.
Somebody crashed, but no virtual safety car or no safety car here.
We've had a crash.
Let's see, Sonoda
Let's take a closer look.
crashed.
Now let's look
I
at
guess
this.
it wasn't a
Focus on
serious
Tsunoda.
crash like that to... Oh. Oh.
That's an off.
Oh.
And a big
Yep.
off.
Last front wing is gone. No virtual safety or safety car. A virtual safety or a safety car would be so good right now for our fuel, because as you can see, Lewis Hamilton again, fuel is dropping off. I don't know what's wrong with Hamilton and his fuel. Russell has picked off Perez and also created a good amount of distance for himself, so Perez does not have DRS on him. But Hamilton on this fuel, man, I don't know what's going on with Hamilton on this fuel.
Increase in lifting coast just a little.
Let's speed him up. All right, so we're at lap 25. Let's bring back Lewis Hamilton up. Each time I do one driver, it's like the other driver. Oh man, each time I save fuel on one driver, it's like the other driver needs to save fuel as well.
Save a bit of fuel now.
Man.
Copy.
So we have to save some fuel with Russell. He was catching up to Bottas as well and doing a pretty good job at it and pulling away from Perez. Let's see if he can still do that while he saves some fuel. All right, so he's still saving fuel. Now we can, oh man, each time I do it. All right, you know what? I'm gonna keep it on conserve. I'm gonna keep Lewis on conserve as well. And I'm gonna see something. I'm just gonna keep it on
Lifting
conserve
coast. Copy.
for a few laps. All right, we see Lando Norris has gone to pit. Verstappen in the pits. Where is Russell? Can he? We got past Verstappen. And we're gonna keep him on saving that fuel for right now, because I don't know what's going on with the fuel with both drivers. And Verstappen came out behind Perez. Hamilton all the way back here, 8 seconds off Ocon, who is right at Verstappen. All right, so we're gonna speed it up for a few more laps. Let's take a look first at the tires percentage. 57, 58, 54 for Russell, 59 Perez, 67 for Lewis Hamilton, 51 Carlos Sainz. Leclerc now in the pits. with Leclerc going into the pits. How much laps to our pit window? 2. All right, we're gonna start burning our tires with George Russell,
Push hard.
and we're finished
Copy.
saving fuel now. All right, so everybody, Bottas also in the pits. So we're gonna burn some tires with George here. Hamilton will not catch any of them. Ocon now in the pits. There goes Bottas for his stop. George Russell now out in P1. We're just gonna burn him now and let him go. Burn onto his pit stop, those tires, and see if he can get some time. Let's go to the sectors.
So Valtteri is now pitted.
And Lewis is now up to P5 behind Valtteri. Bottas, all of them on hard tires. Lap 28 is where we are at. So let's speed it up for a few more laps. Alright guys, so we're basically 1 lap away from George Russell's pit window. We can see 19 seconds to Valtteri Bottas. So what we want is we want Russell to come out right behind Valtteri Bottas here. Yes, we're going to be going to pit for his hards, which will be taking him to the end. And we also want to cut to overtake for this lap and let Russell go. All right, so Hamilton has caught up to Bottas and pull away. So Hamilton has picked up a position on Bottas here. Let me see if he's pulling away. If he's not pulling away, I'm going to tell Hamilton to hold up Bottas. Hold the car behind. Alright. So slow down Bottas, Lewis. And then I'm going to slow... Oh man, Bottas got away just right as we said, slow down Bottas, Lewis. Bottas got away. Alright, go, Lewis. Right as we said, slow down Bottas. Bottas got away. Because we wanted to slow down Valtteri, so Russell can get a nice lap in there. Alright. Alright, so 18 seconds is Bottas. And we're going to keep pushing Hamilton. How much laps to Hamilton's pit window? 7 laps. At that 5th lap, we're going to burn him. So here comes George Russell for his pit stop. Let's see if he gets out in front of Valtteri Bottas. Let's see. Or if he comes out right behind Bottas, then that's great too. Alright, here comes Hamilton and Bottas as he's on his way out. There goes Verstappen. Here comes Bottas and Lewis Hamilton now on the straight. And there goes the line. Go on, George. Drive, George, drive. Drive, George. Drive. Right in front. Nice. Right in front. Alright, so we want to kind of cut down to standard on our tires. And we want to cut to neutral on our ERS. Then we want to push Lewis to overtake now Valtteri. As we can have George Russell basically hold his position. Let me see, how far is Perez away from all this? Right, Perez is not too far behind. There he is right there behind Alonso. So we need to create some distance for Lewis Hamilton here so he can make a pit stop. As Alonso, Gasly, and all of them are on some old tires. Right, so we have a few more laps to go until Lewis pit window. So we're gonna keep driving for now. George Russell will be getting DRS off of this Williams. Right, so race is looking good. Williams out the way. Everybody should be getting DRS down the straight. There we go. Nice DRS there. Alright, so we got 1 lap so far on Russell's tires. We're going to give him another lap and then we're going to cut them up to aggressive. Just warm them up a bit. Get them into that nice operational temperature. And we get DRS around the back here. Is there another back marker up in front of George Russell? Yes, there is a car down the road there. All right, let's push overtake.
So you have overtake.
See if you can go catch up to that car. Which car is it? Albon. Alright, he's at a good distance away from Albon. Doubt he's going to be getting Albon there to get DRS. Alright, here comes Valtteri Bottas. Tires are getting a little warm. That's alright. Alright, so they're nice and looking good in good temperatures. And now is where we're going to now pick up the pace on those tires with Russell to start go aggressive on those hards. Alright. Hold off Bottas, man. Hold him off. You have overtake on, so you should get some great exits to hold off Bottas. And we can cut Lewis up to overtake here. So he can try and get in front of Bottas. As Bottas tries to get in front of Russell, we want Lewis to try to get in front of Bottas. So if Russell do a nice defense and lock off Bottas, then Lewis can just squeeze in and take that position nice and easy. Alright, 4 laps to Lewis pit window. Looking good on tires. If we go to pit now, where will Lewis come out? P10. Alright, Carlos Sainz is where Lewis Hamilton will be coming out if he goes to pit now. So we're going to go attack on his tires.
You can do this.
Yep.
George Russell now getting around Albon. Will he have DRS? I'm not even sure if he'll have any DRS here. But we have Lewis up to overtake. We're going to cut down that to neutral. Here comes Lewis Hamilton now on Valtteri Bottas, who was outside of DRS of George Russell. I'm going to keep Hamilton pushing against Bottas here. Let's keep that overtake on him. Alright, for the sake of the video, we're going to add a few laps of speed up.
So we're low on battery at the moment.
Low on battery. Stroll spins. Let's cut that down to neutral. As Hamilton charges down behind Bottas here. George Russell holds his position. Russell's fuel looks a little bit low, but we're not in a position to harvest right now. Bottas tires are at 88%, while Russell tires are at 84%. Hamilton burning his tires down. Come on, Russell. Push him off. Push him off. He got a better line. He's going to take that position.
Yeah, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right, George.
So currently you're P4.
That's all right. Let's harvest a bit with Lewis. I think after 2 laps is his pit window. As we push him to possibly make up some time, so we can get a pit stop and come out in front of Carlos Sainz is what we're trying to do with Lewis. Alright, nice overtake there from Russell on Bottas. Let's see if Lewis can do the same.
It's a race position gained for Mercedes.
Come on, Lewis. Let's watch that because we did see it.
Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell.
DRS down the outside. Nice. Nice closing down Bottas there.
Oh, they make it look...
Alright, let's keep pushing. Lewis seems to be dropping back on his tires, man. I don't know. He seems to be dropping back to me. I don't want to use team orders unless it's like on a straight. so Bottas
Alfa
doesn't drop
Romeo
back too
just
far.
moved up a place.
Let's see if Lewis can get around Russell here.
Press, overtake, and that's it.
Let's see if we can squeeze Lewis in front. Let's cut down Russell to standard, so Lewis can get by him without dropping him out of DRS. Yeah, without dropping him out of DRS, Lewis should be able to get by him because we've basically cut his pace. Let's cut him to harvest, save some fuel as well. He should get DRS. Bottas should get DRS here too because of the back markers. Alright, Lewis now within his pit window. Come on, Lewis, you can do this. Who is that? Haggling Bottas. It's a back marker haggling Bottas. Which car is that? Can't even see the name because of all the jumbling. Oh, Tsunoda. It was Tsunoda. Alright, so Hamilton has passed George Russell. Alright, and he's a few seconds behind Bottas. Russell dropping out of DRS. Let's pick up at that speed with Russell. Don't want him to drop out of DRS at all. So we want him to be back within DRS of Lewis Hamilton. We'll probably have to slow Hamilton down. Slow Hamilton down. Our ERS is done. Harvest. We'll slow Hamilton down a bit here. Come on, Hamilton. Slow down, man. Slow down. Let Russell get DRS. Alright, it looks like he's on him, but is he? Did he get DRS? Did he get on him too late? Yeah, I think he got on him a bit too late. He got on him a bit too late. Alright, we're gonna bring Hamilton back up to aggressive. As Russell is now within DRS on him. Russell is out of DRS. I don't know how he's dropping out. I don't know. He's now within. And Hamilton is harvesting. I don't know. Alright, he's now within DRS. We want Russell to stick with us. Alright, so we're going to harvest for this entire lap. Since Russell is now with us, we might not need to harvest anymore. We could cut up to overtake. So we get a nice clean exit. And let's see if we go to pit with Lewis now. Coming out, still P10 is where we're looking at. P10 looks a long way ago. P10 looks far away here for Lewis Hamilton. I think he will be coming out before P10. I think he can get out before P10. Let's cut it to neutral. Will Hamilton get Bottas here? He's along the inside. Is he alongside Valtteri? Yes, he is. Now, he is. Looks like he's going to get him. Nope. Not today. He has DRS. Around the outside goes Lewis. Yes, he got him. There we go. Nice. Nice move from Lewis Hamilton. Exactly what we want to see. We have his battery on neutral. Yes, we're going to be going to pit pretty soon, Lewis. No worries. We're going to be going to pit after this lap. Alright, so what we want now is for Lewis to extend these tires as far as he can go with them. He's the only driver who has not pitted just yet. And we're going to be coming back to some fresh medium. So hopefully I can come out in front of Perez. Is that a safety car?
Let's take a look at the replay.
Who locked
now
up?
Watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this.
Oh man, Lewis Hamilton locked up. Man.
They've lost control. And
Man,
there's and the
that's
team
crazy.
had
After
such high
such a
hopes today.
beautiful drive,
What a
man.
shame.
After such a beautiful drive, he locked up. It's all right, Lewis. Now we're gonna be going to pit and coming out way behind. You see, is aero minor damage, so we don't really need to change that, as it's minor damage. Do we want to change it? How much time is that going to be added? At 6 seconds pit stop, so 24, 29. Man, let's change it. Let's change it and bring him into pit.
Gives a pit confirm.
Nah. Yeah, now he's going to come out way behind P10. Oh, he's still coming out P10 on the trajectory.
Good job there.
So I knew we would have come out before P10. Knew we would have definitely came out before P10 if Hamilton didn't just crash out. George Russell, let's watch that.
Take a look now. Now let's look
DRS.
at this. Here's George Russell.
Nice. Beautiful overtake there from Russell. Alright, for the sake of time on the video, we're going to be speeding it up a little bit. I knew Hamilton would have come out. If he did not locked up a while ago, he probably would have come out in front of Perez. Or at least in front of Carlos Sainz. Now he's definitely coming out at P10. Could we bang in an extra lap with Lewis here?
Overtake Press. Overtake Press.
Let me see. Now let's cancel that and we'll bang in a new lap, a fresh lap. See if we can get some time off that fresh lap. Let's see if we can get some time.
Easily the fastest there by country mile.
George Russell on the fastest lap. We're going to go to pit now with Lewis. Do we want to change the front wing? Nope. It's not necessarily recommended. So we're going to try and save some times as well. But if we're coming back out P10 anyways, might as well we change that front wing. Because Joe is way off. So we're definitely coming back up P10. So might as well we change that front wing as well, guys. For a fresh one. Might as well.
We have your pit confirmed.
Might as well. Alright, Russell and Bottas battling it out. DRS to DRS. Alright, we want to save some fuel now.
And save fuel.
Yeah, copy.
Is there any cars up ahead? Verstappen. We've passed Mick Schumacher. Let's cut Russell up to overtake here.
Overtake.
Okay.
Alright, so there is Perez. So I'm thinking Lewis should be able to come out in front of Alonso and them guys. If we probably didn't change the front wing, he would have probably come out in front of Alonso and them. Let's see. Let's cut to Harvest for George Russell. Alright, there goes Alonso and them now coming onto the straight. Alonso and Sainz, and we're on our way out. So we're definitely coming back out in P10. Behind Ocon, we'll be on fresh mediums, while everybody will be on hard tires. There we go, a 7-second pit stop. We'll take it. P10 is where we're back out. We're going to cut down to standard on our tires. Alright, we see Russell saving fuel and Bottas passing. Let's watch that time. We want Russell to be within DRS on Valtteri here. Don't want him to drop out. Alright, Hamilton 7 seconds. So he'll have to push those mediums. He'll have to push those mediums, Lewis. We'll get him up to neutral. I'll put those mediums to work in a few. We're just getting them warmed up. So in a few, I'm going to be going aggressive on those mediums. And that should be good enough to take those mediums to the end. So let's put some speed on it for the sake of time on the video. Alright guys, it's lap 50. Lap 50 it is. George Russell and Bottas still battling out.
Definitely broke your game here. Well done.
Battling it
Proud
out.
of you.
Russell just overtook
Now,
Bottas.
just
Let's take a
watch
look.
the Mercedes here.
With DRS. Nice overtake. Beautiful overtake there from George Russell.
And there they go, moving up a position in the pack.
Alright, one thing that I think I have concerning me right now is this fuel. Alright, so we're going to try and keep that fuel
Save
down
fuel.
to low.
Copy.
We basically have 21 laps to go. And we have the best tires out here. 77 for Russell. And Lewis Hamilton. We see Alonso going to pit here. Leaving Lewis Hamilton to take that position. So does that mean if Alonso went to pit, does that mean some of these other cars are going to be going to pit? As we're catching up to Ocon, there he is up the road. Does that mean some of these other cars are going to be going to pit, but then we don't have enough fuel?
Looks like that was a position gained for Alfa
We don't
Romeo.
have enough fuel. Alright, we're going to add some speed to it and come back at about lap 55. Let's go. Severe crash. And we don't see any virtual safety, and we don't see any safety
Sounds
car.
like a few cars have crashed.
Alright, so
Here's the
multiple
replay.
cars crashed. Let's take a look at that.
Ricciardo involved here.
Yep. Oh, he turned in.
You can clearly see the
Is
contact
that Mick
there.
Schumacher he
That
turned in
caused
on?
a lot of damage. And that was a bitter blow for the team.
I'm wondering if that was
And it
Mick
may have
Schumacher
really hurt.
he turned in on. Not sure. Alright, so no virtual safety car. No safety car was deployed. Alright, we're back in the pluses on fuel. 10 laps to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to go up to attack on our tires, and we're just going to keep saving that fuel same way as we go up to attack. Alright. There goes Russell taking that position from Valtteri. Alright, let's push for a few more laps. Alright guys, lap 55. We see George Russell pulling away from Valtteri Bottas, but he's out of fuel. You have to cut him back down to conserve. Lewis Hamilton still in P9, gaining on Ocon, 4 seconds away.
The hot temps just going to be submitted to coast.
But we'll just try and save that fuel, as that's the only thing I'm worried about right now. Mainly is the fuel. I'm not too worried about anything else other than that fuel. Alright, we want to push this ERS to overtake as well, and use some ERS since we're saving on fuel. You know, we're pushing on pace. Let's use some of that ERS to see if we can keep up.
So we are low on battery at the moment.
Alright, ERS is finished. Russell ERS is neutral. Lewis Hamilton ERS is out, but he's right up on Gasly right now with DRS, so we can harvest now. He did a great job to bring himself up to these two, Ocon and Gasly, and he has DRS, and we'll be bringing the fight to them now for a few more laps. For the sake of the video though, we're going to speed it up to about lap 65. Alright, let's bring Lewis up to neutral. Is Russell up to neutral? Yep. And as you can see, we've saved a good amount of fuel. So let's carry them back to balance on fuel and see if that could take us to the end. So now with a spun, turn 15, probably don't need to look at that. And let's go. So Hamilton picked up Ocon and Gasly. They're still behind him in that DRS train, but we're still watching that fuel. Russell now up to P3. Looks like he's going to be finishing on the podium. Nice distance between Bottas and himself. So we're gonna kind of cut it down
Please
to
increase lift and coast.
lift and coast on fuel once again, and then we're gonna speed it back. All right, guys, lap 66. Seems like Perez had a spun or something, because we were speeding it up, and it seems like Perez had a spun because Hamilton caught up to Perez, and he now has DRS on Lewis. So we're just going to keep pushing Lewis and keep pushing Russell to the end of the race. So let's speed up to the final lap. All right, guys, so we see Carlos Sainz trying to catch up to George Russell, so we're going to cut him up to balance now, right at the end here. So he holds his position. There it is. Sainz is right on him, and we're basically going to be going to that final lap. So let's add ×2 speed to the finish line. Hamilton, Perez still right behind him there. And there goes George Russell holding off Sainz for his final lap. Yellow flags. What happened? Alonso locked up at turn 3. We probably don't need to look at that. All right, so here comes Perez behind Hamilton, and here comes Sainz behind Russell. So P3 looks secure for George Russell here. Only way he does not get P3 is unless he spin out. And P6 looks secured for Lewis Hamilton here. Only way he does not get P6 is unless he spins out as well. We're going to cut our ERS now up to overtake on both drivers. And that should be able to take us to the finish line as Charles Leclerc wins the Mexican Grand Prix here. Carlos Sainz as well. As you know, we just want to outperform the Ferraris for the Constructors' Championships. Let's take a quick look at the win.
And there it is, a win for
There we go. Nice drive from Leclerc. And let's watch our drivers finishing their race. The fuel was mainly my problem here.
Temps are climbing.
So if you have not done your Mexican Grand Prix, you probably want to give your car a little more fuel. All right. So we're going to speed it up to the end. There goes Lewis Hamilton taking his P6, coming in from P16. So he gained 10 places to finish P6. Great race. All right. All right, here goes the celebration.
And here today, George Russell making British motorsport proud.
Looking good. Really great drive from our team. Great drive from Russell. Our strategy worked well for George, mediums to hards, and our strategy worked well for Lewis, hards to medium. And we managed to get back Russell on the podium after starting P10. Managed to pull back to the podium for George. And P6 for Lewis. All right.
Takes his place on the podium.
Great celebration here.
A lovely occasion as we see all three drivers clearly relishing their moments on the podium.
There we go. All right, so we want to see where, if we're going to still
This was all very
be at the
impressive,
front.
and it's obviously the work of a solid, well-run team.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the
All right, we're still in first
standings.
place. Great.
Coming up in the next round is the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. as we
Okay,
head to
Brazilian
Brazil.
Grand Prix coming up
Join us
next.
next time at Interlagos.
All right, so there we go, guys. P3, P6. We're still leading the driver championships and the constructors championships by a few points. Great drive from our drivers. We'll take our points now. There we go. And our bonus, we only have Russell to pay out, and we just lost a little money, so we have a 4 million gain there. So that's basically going to be it for this one. Leave code word bonus down below to let me know that you made it to this portion of the video. Really appreciate you guys who watch the full videos for all your support. And remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Well, good guys. Bye.